episode of Masters of Breath. So the first individual we're going to talk about is Emil Zatopek. Emil Zatopek was known as the Czech locomotive. He was a distance runner from Czechoslovakia. In the 1952 Olympic Games, he won gold in the 5,000 and 10,000 meters, and that wasn't good enough for Emil. He was a crazy guy, so he was like, hey, you know what? I've never run a marathon before. What I'm going to do is give it a whirl at the Olympics, and he won that event as well. He was kind of a wild dude. He used to do things like feign fatigue and suffering during races so that his competitors would pull back a little bit, and when they let off the gas, he would fire right by. He was a pretty crazy guy. He used to do some really interesting training techniques, like he would run in boots and in all kinds of weather, in the snow and the mud and things like that. So he's a pretty wild guy. One thing that he did that was very sort of avant-garde was he was one of the first individuals that I ever heard about who used hypoxic intervals in endurance training in order to enhance his performance. So he would go out for a run and pick some kind of distance marker, and then when he would pass those intervals, he would hold his breath while he ran. All right, I don't know the specifics of if he did not inhale, exhale, or any of that, but I do know that he was one of the first guys I ever heard of who did that. Ironically, there is some research and some historical evidence to show that the Russians were doing something very similar to help pilots who are getting ready for altitude, and this was way back 60s and 70s time frame during the Soviet era, when we didn't have a lot of fancy technology to mimic that low oxygen environment. So again, Emil Zatopek, the Czech locomotive. Look him up, Google him, find him out on Wikipedia. Very interesting guy, and thanks for tuning in to the first episode of Masters of Breath. See you next time.